Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt with 86. I'm going to be looking at a Dell touchscreen monitor today. Now, the model number of it is the P2418HT, I believe. I'll double check it. I'll post it right here if I didn't say it right. Or anyways, because Dell, the company that doesn't believe that model numbers should be simple and they have to be the most complex, almost serial number type of thing to say. Come on, Dell, make your model numbers a little easier like everybody else. Anyway, so this isn't something I would typically look at. This is actually something a buddy of mine said, hey, I ordered this. It's going to be a minute before I need to use it. Do you want to just take it home with you and take a look at it? I'm thinking, yeah, it doesn't really fall into the realm of what I like to look at, but I was pleasantly surprised by my experience with it, and it kind of made me want one, not gonna lie. So what we have here is a 24-inch touchscreen monitor, and what you really want to do with this is not so much for anything gaming related. You can game on it just like any monitor you can plug into a GPU, you can game on it, but you're not gonna have the best experience in that department. What a monitor like this is really made for is something more for design space. For instance, Laura uses Cricut design space, and she's really enjoyed her experience using this monitor in order to play around with it. So at first I had some minor reservations about what we were gonna think about it, how it was going to work, and what ended up being was a pretty cool experience with some small setbacks that I'll go over in this video. Now, it does feature a 6 millisecond gray-to-gray IPS panel. The IPS panel is actually a little bit lackluster and didn't quite support what I would have hoped it to support for somebody who may use this for something like design, whether you're using Photoshop or Design Space, any of those. It does have a bit of a problem with contrast, and that's kind of surprising for an IPS monitor, I think. We'll go over that in a little bit when I post some of the Black Crush tests. You'll be able to see that. Now, you got 60 Hertz out of this monitor, which is pretty standard for most IPS monitors. It is a little bit pricey for what it is, but at the same time, it's kind of a specified device that sort of makes its place there. One of the best parts of it is the fact that the base is pretty sturdy. While it does offer a lot of wobble because the monitor size is pretty generous, it is a pretty sturdy base. It's a little bit tight on the hinges, so moving it up and down doesn't quite go as easily as I would have hoped. I would have liked to have seen something that maybe supported it a little more and just let you use simple, small gestures to lift it up and down. But it's not quite balanced like that. It's a little overly tight, so sometimes the base comes up when I'm trying to adjust it. I totally forgot to say that it is 100 by 100 millimeter VESA compatible. So if you don't want to use that base that it definitely has VESA compatible mounting. If you want to attach it to a desk and make it so that you're on a swivel arm that's more your speed or style, you can definitely do that. Color reproduction is kind of lackluster, the same with contrast. It's not the most beautiful IPS monitor screen I've ever seen, but it gets the job done. And only at 250 nits, we're looking at something that's not quite as bright as I would have liked it to be either. However, I noticed standing in front of it when you're working on it like an easel, then you don't have to worry so much about how bright it actually is. Pickles! Because it's plenty bright, unless you're somebody that's going to go outside for some reason in the sunlight and work on it, but I don't think too many people will probably do that. Now, in the box, the monitor does come with a USB pass-through. This USB pass-through will let you have 4 USB devices. These USB devices are not necessary for you to do something with, however, the USB pass-through is necessary for the computer in order to activate the touch on the monitor. There is software you can download from Dell as well in order to easily get the ball rolling with that. Again, you'll need to use the USB pass-through hub in order to activate the touchscreen monitor itself. You don't just plug it into DisplayPort or VGA or whatever you're using and expect it to work. You have to use that USB. You have 2 USB 3.0s and 2 USB 2.0s. The 3.0s are located on the back side and the 2.0s are located on the left side. Not really going to go over the user control functions with the menu here. In fact, Dell made it really easy on people to use this monitor with the software. You don't have to actually use that on-screen menu or the on-screen display in order to do as much as you can with the software you can download. So good job there. Just makes life a lot simpler. Oddly, in the box, we got a neat assortment of cables besides that USB pass-through. It comes with DisplayPort cable, which is great, despite the fact that it's a 60 Hertz monitor, 1080p. You got a DisplayPort cable. You got a VGA cable. What else did you get? Is that it? But they didn't include an HDMI cable, which was a little odd. I mean, that seems like it would make the most sense for this monitor, 1080p Full HD, 60 Hertz, but no HDMI cable. It came with DisplayPort cable and VGA cable, completely skipped HDMI cable. Odd. Most people are most commonly going to have HDMI ports. Of course, a lot of people will have display ports, and antiquated people will have VGA ports. Don't use VGA. That's my opinion. I'm gonna drill that opinion down too. Don't use VGA if you can avoid it. You're gonna have kind of a subpar viewing experience, and you want to try to maximize it as best as possible. The HDMI port is also 1.4 if I need to mention that. Again, this monitor doesn't go over 60 Hertz, and it's a 1080p Full HD display. Anything 2.0 or greater would have been wasted on it as is, or 1.4A probably would be a waste on this monitor because it doesn't support that anyways. I did like completely toolless assembly. That was something that was really nice. You could set this monitor down and put it together pretty much without looking at the instructions. It's super simple. It's nice to have the instructions there for a couple other reasons, such as how do you slide that back plate on, should you push it down or slide it on. That was about the hardest part of it. For the most part, plug all your cables in, route them up, put them through the cable management hole, put your base together. It's very simple. Very, very simple. Because if you do want to move it, take it somewhere, put it on a certain stand somewhere, hook it up to laptops or different laptops around you. It's very simple to do, and I like the fact that it didn't require a whole lot of work to really put it together. So real quick, we'll pause here and I'll show you some shots from UFO testing. And next we're going to pause here and we're going to take a look at the Black Crush. Now, a Black Crush test will only show you as well as your own monitor will let you see. So what I did is I overexposed, what I do with most monitors. I try to overexpose the shot a little bit to kind of give you a more realistic appearance of the monitor. The pictures are not that pretty, but you'll see the monitor here on our Black Crush test. Again, if your monitor is not capable of seeing certain blacks, then you're not going to see the certain blacks over the video. I did notice it was pretty reasonable, up to 5, 4, maybe 3 at best, but you know, it's really not covering that full range of the blacks, and that kind of yells at the contrast being a little meh. The touchscreen's a little different too. It's not a glass coating, it's not one of those reflective ones. It's an anti-glare, almost like you're just straight up touching an LCD screen, and that might bother some people. I know it bothered Laura a little bit. She had to use a stylus on it, but she said, you know, it just feels like touching a monitor screen. And of course, if you're like me, that's a big no-no. Don't touch my monitor screen. Get onto the kids all the time for it. She doesn't like it when people at her work do it. So it's just a matter of don't touch the monitor screen. This one, of course, is designed to be touched, and it doesn't leave a lot of fingerprints. Cats. This monitor, of course, is designed to be touched. It doesn't leave a lot of fingerprints behind, so there's not a lot to worry about there. I think it's alright. It feels pretty good, and the anti-glare is fine, but I don't think I would have had too much of an issue with it being the other kind of digitizer on top as well. If y'all hear that bell jingling around, it's because she's apparently found some kitten cocaine somewhere and is just hyped up. So just being completely candid, I didn't think I would be as impressed as I am with this. And like I said in the beginning, it kind of makes me want one for myself, for her to use. You can set it on a table, use it like an easel. One of the easiest things to do, in case you're wondering, if you don't want to go the mouse keyboard route, because it is a nice, generous touchscreen monitor, you plug in a laptop, you want to stick the laptop behind it, you want to stick the laptop under it, wherever you want to put it. The problem is you might have to keep going back to the keyboard. Just go into Windows and enable your on-screen keyboard, set it to the size you want, and make it so that you're just popping it up and minimizing it. When you need to use it, it's there, and you can of course use touchscreen to move around. Anyways guys, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. There is a cool review site called Monitor Nerds, I believe. That's where I was reading some stuff myself about it to find out was there cool tricks I was missing that I could express to you guys. I'm gonna leave a link to them down below. They cover a lot more of the specific technical specs. They also say some things I disagree with. They cover some of the more technical specs. They also say some agree and disagree with things from my perspective, but I'll post that down below if you want to go reading some extra stuff. They did a great review and breakdown on it, and I'll leave you with that. You guys have a great day, night, whatever it is. I'll see you in the next video that I do.